right now. All right, so we are recording, and first off, like Kelly said, thank you for being here. I thought this was a very important, important meeting, not only for the VMware IT Academy, but for Stanley Community College as your regional support center to come up and say, hey, we want to help you all we can. I feel like, I don't feel like I've actually done enough with the VMware IT Academy. That's why I went to Kelly about 3 weeks ago. I said, hey, I need to really start reaching out more for the VMware IT Academy for the support role. I know I've had a lot of schools to call me, and I've always been willing to help, but how can I help more? So that's the reason for this meeting. I do want to get it started off. We do have Caleb Herron here. He is actually my colleague that works at Stanley Community College. He is a co-host. He's kind of been my go-to guy. He's going to help keep up with the chat and let new participants in as needed as we go. Caleb, thank you for joining. Next, we have Susan Cofield. As all of you know, most of you have worked with Susan before. Susan is with the VMware IT Academy, give you great support. And what I'm going to do is I made Susan a co-host, and I'm going to let her start off the meeting, just go over a little bit about D2L. What is D2L? How can VMware help you? And then lastly, where we're going to go is I'm going to show you a live demo of D2L, what I have experienced to try to help you all. So how do you check your Kabuto subscription to know when it ends, to know when you need to be converted over to D2L so you do not have that lapse, and to know, you don't want to have that migration period in there, and possibly do a test class if possible. So Susan, thank you for being here. And I'll just let you start it off.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I've had the chance to meet many of you, but there are a few new faces that I haven't been introduced to. So thank you for joining the call today. I'm the regional program manager for the VMware academic program. So whether that's the IT Academy program or the academic software licensing program, which I'll go through the difference between the two. I've been with VMware almost 5 years, but I had 11 years managing the Cisco IT Academy program when I was there for quite some time, and got to partner with Stanley on many initiatives, and also with Harry and some others that are on the call. So it's always great to have the Carolina folks on here, as well as others that are part of Stanley's regime. They've got a big regime with lots of schools they work with. But it's important to me that you are able to migrate gracefully over to D2L if you're not there yet. It was a very strong move that we had to make. We had to make some decisions on whether to stay with Kabuto or go with a new provider that can have more user experiences that are hopefully a little bit different than possibly with Kabuto, where it was more of a just order here and download here. So that's why we were trying to come up with a partner that could have a learning management system and other features that would be a little more advanced than what Kabuto was offering. But they have been a great partner to work with. I wanted you to type in the chat window, just because I was curious to know how many of you are currently with Kabuto. You could just put yes or no. So some of you, okay, so most of you are still with Kabuto, all right. How many of you are not on D2L or Kabuto, but you're interested in learning more about our academic programs? Okay, great. So we have 2 academic programs for those of you who may not be familiar. We've got the IT Academy program, which is really geared towards certifications in vSphere, and also our new VCTA courses. We offer discounted vouchers, and I'll go through that in my slide deck as well. But we have a lot of research universities and schools that just want Workstation and Fusion for be able to teach virtualization in the classroom. They don't want to teach or use our content, and that's fine too. So we have a lot of schools that will just subscribe to the academic software licensing program. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you some of our new courses. And also, if you need to chime in at any point in time, feel free to put it in the chat window or interrupt me as we go through this. And I'm not going to bombard you with a bunch of slides, but I did have a few that I wanted to share with you. How many of you have heard of D2L? I know they've been around a while. A lot of people, call them Desire to Learn, but they're based out of Canada. They have a lot of users. They have over 1,300 customers in the academic space. They're going to offer everything that you're getting today with Kabuto and more. But it is going to be a more intuitive mobile design for you as a teacher and also for you as a student. They will have some built-in analytics that I think will be more user-friendly for instructors, and will also be able to study anywhere from any mobile device from a student perspective. They've been great to work with. If we need to customize something, we're able to work with them on that with their development team so that we can make sure this is the best positive experience for you and your students. Are we perfect? No. Do we have some things we still need to tweak? Yes, but we really are listening to the customer, we're listening to the instructors, and have been able to do some pretty important tweaks within a few days time frame, or it might take a little bit longer for some of the other changes and requests. But we have everything from the software license to the courseware to badges and certifications, just like you did with Kabuto. It's going to look different, and hopefully it's going to be a more user-friendly look and feel. I think it's going to be more engaging for the student. We'll also have e-text. You won't have to purchase those anymore. The content will be displayed right through D2L's portal, which Brandon will show you in a little bit. So you will not have to order a printed book unless they want one. And they'll be able to view all of the content for vSphere and all of the new content for our new certification courses around VCTA. So the biggest change, which some of you may not know about, but Brandon and Kelly and Caleb do, is we're going to a per seat subscription. So in the past, for those of you who were with Kabuto, it's been very easy to manage. You've got unlimited software license for your entire classroom the whole year. So this is where it gets a little bit different on how to manage your class, and Kabuto is actually moving in this price model direction as well, but it is $330 for 205 students. We also have the next package up, which I don't think, except maybe Stanley, because they do a lot of the online. I don't know if any of you have more than 400 students, but if you do, you would purchase that 400 student block for 405 students. So the question I get every day is, Susan, can we use a one workstation license for a lab environment? And the answer is yes. So if you need to take one workstation license and implement that in your lab environment for the year, you can use that one license over and over again for your particular lab. So I'm going to pause there because I know that's the biggest change we have with our program, just to see if you want to put a question in the chat window, or if you want to unmute and ask the question live, that would be great.
I've got a question.
Okay.
It's Tony Brown from Forsyth Tech.
Hey, Tony.
Currently we're using Kabuto and also on the hub. When our students go to download the VMware software, is any of that going to change?
No, that'll be my next slide or two, but you will get all of the same software that you have now with Kabuto.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Great question. So any other questions on, let's see, we have one more in the chat window. There's a minimum size block, and that is 200 students. So that's a question from Harry. And Harry, if you've got some other instructors in your school that could leverage, like another department that could leverage your subscription, because you're not going to be using 200, you can do that as well.
Okay, so you had mentioned also using a license in the lab. Is the lab counted as one of the students, or how do we do that kind of, because right now it's broken up into, there's a student order, and then separately there's a faculty/admin or whatever order, right?
That would be an admin or faculty order, not a student.
Okay.
Because
So
the student license,
it's still broken up.
Yes, yeah, still broken up. The other thing, when you go in to purchase your subscription, they just made this change. If you've got 250 students, they D2L will charge you just per student, which I think is like $1.65 per student. So you don't have to purchase that additional $405, because some schools may just have a little bit over the 200.
Susan, I have a question.
Okay.
Do the seats expire? I've actually gotten that question, and while we're on the call, I think it's a good question for you to kind of mitigate. Do the seats expire? And say a school were to buy 400 to 405 license subscription, does that carry over for next year, and for how long?
It is just like it is with Kabuto, where you're assigned one particular license per student for 1 year. So after 1 year, Johnny Brown his license will expire after he downloads that license that was assigned to him. So if you've got another class coming in the spring, you'll have to add those 25 students and assign a particular license to that person. And they have a year before it will go away.
Okay, what about the seats? So we purchase 400, say Stanley purchases 405 seats. All right. Say at the end of the year, I have 50 seats left over. Do they convert over to the next year, or how long?
I see what you mean. Those will go away. So you have to really think about your seats, but you can always add. You can start at the 200, and you can add another 200 block halfway through the year. So, if you're not really sure, I would go with the lower minimum, and then you can add add some extra seats along the way. But I know that's a burden with purchasing and having to do all that.
Okay.
And I think it's also important to note that like $1.06 or $1.60 per individual student. So if you have another 40 students above, you don't need to go buy 200 more. You'll buy 40 more for those students. So there's an economical way, or a more economical way to do it if you need to buy individuals.
Yep, and that's new. That's new how they just done that, right, Susan? That's changed.
Yeah, and it's a big change for us. Okay. Yeah. I know it's hard to get used to, but it is the biggest change. I'll be very honest with you.
Okay.
This is all the software that you have today with Kabuto, and this is what you will be getting with D2L. So it is a little bit different, which we'll show you. And we've got a software download guide that will step you through. It's like 2 steps extra to do it with D2L versus Kabuto, but you only have to do it once a year. So this is all the software that you'll get, and it's worth about, I want to say $14,000 per student. If I were to go just, buy these off the shelf, it's very expensive to buy vSphere. I believe it's around $4,000 per student just to purchase vSphere. We've got a lot of new courses. Was there a question? Sorry about that.
Tony asked, can we get a copy of the PowerPoint?
Yes, absolutely. I'll send that to you, Brandon, and it has all the links in here, so you don't have to be writing as I speak.
And I will then send that out everybody via the MailChimp. So it'll come out via MailChimp as an email that will also include the link to this recording.
Thank you.
So we've got a lot of new courses that I want to bring your attention to. Some of these have been out for a while. The ones in the light blue are brand new. The ones, I'll start at the bottom in the green, are free to anybody and everybody around the world. I just happened to put this on here because it is included in your portal, just so it'll be a one-stop shop. But if you've got some high schools you're working with, they don't have to pay to leverage these courses that are in green. So getting started in IT is a great course for middle school students and high school students that are just now getting started in IT. I think all of you are familiar with the NDG courses, the Cloud Invert, Software Defined Storage, Network Virtualization. Those are also included in your Kabuto portal, as well as your D2L portal, just so you'll have one place to go and not several different places for your other courses. So make sure you share that with the high schools you work with. The light blue courses that you see are brand new concept courses. I'm sorry, core technical skill courses. And these range from data center virtualization to network, digital workspace, modern apps, cloud management and automation, and then security will be coming out in December. These are roughly around, I know Brandon will jump in a minute, but they're about 10 hours each. And I know the data center has 55 simulations that are integrated into that particular course. And we'll show you in a little bit what it looks like, the look and feel and the user experience. I'm very excited about these particular courses. I don't know if you have to go through your board to have these approved as part of your curriculum, but I wouldn't think so since they're quick and they're short. But you have students that are very hungry, and you may not have time to offer these courses, but they can learn on their own. So they can go back to their apartment or dorm rooms or whatever and download any of these courses and actually take a certification exam for $38 and be able to get their VCTA certification in each of these core skill courses.
Yep, so they could actually come out with 6 certifications because the VCTA, you're given a voucher at the end. You can get that VCTA voucher out for your students. So.
And I know Brandon has been incorporating the VCTA data center virtualization course into ICM and vSphere. And I think that's just another way for students to learn some of the difficult, courseware and information. Most of you know about vSphere, but it is a 40-hour course for both ICM and 40 hours for Optimize and Scale. These are intense courses. They're professional level courses that a lot of our VMware engineers have as a foundation. The certifications exam is one exam, so that's a big change from last year, and it is $125. Is that right, Brandon? $125 for the exam.
The VCP is $250.
The discount.
And the discount comes out to like $75, and then
Okay.
the VCTAs come down or $125. Isn't that right, Cove? The VCTA.
Yeah. I think because it's a 70% discount off of 250. I think it's 75 there. I think the 125 is what they took off.
Yeah.
With
So,
the
Okay.
discount.
and then the VCTAs do come out, like Susan said, about $38, I think, per certification. Yes.
Now, I was just curious if you could type in the chat window if you're currently offering ICM. Just yes or no, or maybe in the future. Or okay. So for those of you who are interested, I know that Stanley Community College, offers training that they can provide to you for vSphere. And then also we've got the Customer Connect Learning that if you are a part of our program, I would go ahead and sign up for this. It's got a lot of valuable information. It has practice exams. Once you're logged in and you're registered for free, I can also give you some free ICM and ONS on-demand videos for you to learn on your own at your convenience. So once you're registered, and we'll send out the slide deck, and you email me that you want the free videos, let me know and I will make sure that you get access to those. The other resource that you may not be familiar with is Vmug. This is free. They have a paid version and a free version. But if you're not part of Vmug, I encourage you to go look at that. They have a lot of technical sessions, career days. They have engineers from VMware and VMware partners talking about their jobs. It's just another resource for your students. They can log in virtually, and I would choose a big city just because they have more to offer. So Charlotte, Atlanta, any of the big cities, they can log in and be a part of that. Our website has everything that you need to know. So if you're not sure when our webinars are, you're not sure where the data sheet, FAQs are, everything is posted on our website. And I know Brandon and Kelly were with me like 5 years ago. So we've come a long way, baby, is what I say, because we didn't have as good of a web store or website years ago. And we really have a lot of good resources now. I also do office hours every Tuesday at 11 Central Time. So people can just log in and they can ask a question and they can log out. I do roundtables and webinars every month, and all of these are on the front of our webpage. You can scroll down and you can look at Americas, which is me, and my colleague Alvaro does some in Costa Rica. And feel free to log in and learn more about D2L and some of the other things that we're offering. These are all the resources available to you for support. So if you get stuck, you don't know who to call, hopefully you'll get your questions answered. But if not, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to help you any way I can. It's important to me as your program manager and also working with Stanley that you are getting your questions answered and you're not stuck and miserable. So that is my job. I want to make you happy and be able to teach your students excellent material in virtualization and some of the other topics that we have. So I'm going to pause there and see if we have any questions before Brandon jumps into the live D2L show and tell. Any questions? Harry, you always have questions. Any other questions from you? Guess not.
This is Brian. Question on the annual subscription. Is there an option to do it instead of an annual, like a 3 or 5 year purchase?
We used to have that with Kabuto, but unfortunately with D2L, it's just it's just 1 year subscription.
Right, thank you.
But we'll ask for that. We'll see. Who knows? We launched D2L in June, so we really have put a lot of great changes into place. So what is the additional cost for the IT Academy? That's a great question, and I know it doesn't make sense, but the price is the same for IT Academy as it is for the academic software licensing program. So if you're not really sure if you want to offer vSphere, but you're thinking that your students would really like the new VCTA courses, even if they learn on their own, I would highly recommend that you just subscribe to the IT Academy program. That way they'll have access to learn on their own and maybe get a certification on their own.
So Susan, let me highlight that. Tony, you brought up a good point, the additional cost. And Susan, correct me if I'm wrong. The cost for smaller schools, this is going to save you the money, because if you do a year or 2 year or 3 year subscription like it used to be in Kabuto, what happens now, you pay based on the amount of students that use it. Is that correct, Susan? That's basically your subscription model going forward. So you don't pay, ever was a $700 and something for 3 years. So it may only cost you $150 a year. So you got to take into account, it may save you money. However, for some of the larger schools, it may cost more. It just depends on your situation.
That's right.
So
yeah, we've got some big schools I work with, like University of Alabama. You know, they have like 40,000 students and had a campus subscription for $1,200. And I know you may not know the back end to all this, but it's very hard for a partner like Kabuto or D2L to manage 40,000 students for $1,200. So we had to really think about our pricing model for big campus subscriptions and really think about, what do we need to do and moving forward.
Hey, Susan, can you back your PowerPoint up? Tony asked another good question. Back it up to the one that shows all the courses like ICM, ONS, the VCTA courses, shows all of them together. Tony, I'm going to throw this one out here to you, buddy. Getting started in IT. Excellent course. Excellent course. It's free, and that cloud invert concepts, and then the network verts, and the other one from NDG. It is awesome. Now, Kelly, you can help me out on this a little bit. What is the age limit on NDG's material? Is there an age limit they got to be as far as that goes when we look at the middle schools, high schools? I think you're muted.
I think everything is in the 12 or the 13 range. I think that's pretty much a standard across the board with most of the programs. So I think it is it's 13.
Okay.
Very good. So I'm gonna tell you now, Tony, I even use this with some of our ICM students that come through. I say, listen, if you're brand new to VMware, take that little bit of extra time, take that 4 hours, go through it. And then I've had some to come back and say, you know what, that was actually really good. It did give me just a good starting point. And then, you have those other ones like, well, hey, that really wasn't technical as I needed. Then that's when we bump them up to the VCTAs, say, okay, go try this VCTA courses. And with the VCTA courses, while we're talking about them, you will see a little bit of overlap between the VCTA DCV course and the ICM course. They align very well. So every student that I've had to come through, and even my instructor trainings that I've done and some other classes, is like, you know what, that VCTA certification, it is low level, but between ICM and that VCTA course, it gave them a really solid foundation of vSphere. So that's what I try to preach is the foundations. Once you have that foundations, then that's when you can kind of graduate to the optimize and scale, which is the advanced class, and get them ready for that VCP.
Okay. And again, whenever we go and I guess renew our license for 205 students, do we automatically get subscribed into the IT Academy?
Well, we'll walk you through that, Tony. So when you go through to subscribe, you'll know to go here and not here. So we'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put the IT getting started an IT link that's free. I'm gonna just put that right now in the window so you'll have it right away.
Yeah, and that's a static link too that Susan gave you. So
Yeah.
For everyone. Is any questions for Susan before I get started on some demos and just show you how to go in and just basically start over, go through Kabuto right quick and then go to D2L. Any more questions for Susan at this time? All right. All right. So I'm going to, at this time, pause my video and kind of I want to reshare my screen here. And please let me know if everyone can see my screen that I've got popped up. Basically, it's Kabuto. Can everybody see my Kabuto web store?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So for most of us, we are still on Kabuto. I think there's very, very little schools that are running D2L. I know a few that have actually transferred over now, the closer we get to the end of Kabuto's life. Pretty much everything that you're going to see in Kabuto, like the software licensing, you're going to have the teaching resources, which is the PowerPoints, the e-learning. The e-learning actually breaks down what Susan just told you, getting started in IT. And there's one she didn't put in there. Now they have Kubernetes and container concepts, Kube Academy, huge. Containers are becoming a really relevant in the world today, or as we know in IT, right? Then you got all the cloud vert concepts, you got the network vert, all that's there, all right? So what D2L's done is says, you know what? Let's take all of this software, all of these labs, all of these vouchers and everything, let's combine them into a more modern look. And I'll just be honest with you, that's what it is. It's more modern, plus you get to, you kind of got a little bit more integration for the student. So when you're looking at Kabuto, you say, okay, well, how do I check my Kabuto subscription? Well, what you need to do is have your administrator go onto the administrative side. You click on your name, go to administration. Once you get to administration, here is where your main Kabuto page is. What you'll do is go to agreements. Once you click on agreements, then you'll scroll down and you'll notice that we actually have our instructional technology VMAP, because that's what I actually named it, VMAP departmental. And what you'll do is you'll click on the history of it. Or you can click on the history, or you can actually click on your agreement. Now, once you click on your agreement, you can actually see when your subscription ends. So our end date is 5/16 of 2022. However, we placed the order in March of 2019. However, since we placed that order in March of 2019, we're extended 3 years. So I'm actually saying, you know what, even though it goes at 5/16/2022, I'm going to go ahead and cut ours off before March to give us a little bit of overlap. So in other words, we want to prepare. Don't wait till May to come up and say, you know what, I'm going to go from Kabuto to D2L. I would do it early, and I would try to do it 4 to 6 months early. Give yourself a little time to learn it, what works best in your environment. And that's why I wanted to show you this. So you can say, hey, if it expires in, like ours said, expires in May, then yes, you need to try to get on D2L as soon as possible. So you'll have a fallback for 2 or 3 months you can go back to. All right. So now that you know that your Kabuto subscription is ending, you may ask, okay, what do I do? How do I get started with D2L? All right. So on the VMware IT Academy webpage, let me go here. You will notice when you join it, new look for the webpage. All right. So when we get on the webpage, I'm going to start my video back. When you get on the web page, all you'll do is you'll click Join IT Academy. Okay. Once you click Join IT Academy, well, let me log out. My apologies on that. Let's do it. All right. So click Join IT Academy, and now here is where it takes you and says, okay, right here's your VMware IT Academy, Academic and Software Licensing. You'll click Join the Program. Once you join the program, you need to reapply. And all you're doing is reapplying, because at first, you remember we had the Kabuto subscription, right? Now we need to apply to become D2L associated. All you're going to do is click on the apply. Once you apply, you're going to fill out all your details here. And then what's going to happen is once you fill all of your details out, click join program, then for one, whoever fills it out is going to become the administrator. At this time, only one administrator. However, there is a kicker. I know VMware, and I think we've talked to Susan, I've talked to Alvaro at VMware a little bit. They're talking about adding more administrators later on. Whoever signs up as the main contact is the only one that can create classes and can give vouchers and add students. So just remember, if you want to be the main contact and be able to add classes and be able to vouchers and add students, you need to be the one to set up this access. All right. So all you'll do, you'll go in here, you'll fill out all this information, your institution, the type, Aligned Regional Academy. You're more than welcome. We already support you on the Cisco Academy side, so just put Stellan Community College in there. And again, click Join Program. I can't speak for VMware. I can't speak for Susan or Alvaro. I know they're really good at responding. When you join the program, allow up to a week, allow a full week. That's what I always tell anybody that's called me so far. Hey, give them 3 to 5 business days to respond. I know they're busy. We're all busy. So they'll get back with you. Any questions right there as far as how to join the IT Academy at this time?
If Brandon, so
Yes.
Even if you're in Kabuto, you still have to go through this process. Even if you're in the IT Academy already, you still have to go through this process.
That is correct, because Kabuto and D2L are total separate entities, and Kabuto is going away. So what VMware is doing is they're going out on the back end and saying, you know what, we're creating a whole new database of schools that is not, it's only going to be associated with D2L. So yes, if you're on Kabuto, please go reapply for the IT Academy program.
And does the charge date, you mentioned applying a little bit early. I just noticed that our date expires for Kabuto in April. That's before the end of the semester. If we're using materials in April, I know that's not when the license expires for software, but is that going to cause a problem for use of materials expiring?
Here's what I would do. Go ahead, Susan. Go ahead.
For ICM, right, Harry?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've already downloaded the material, so just you're able to fulfill your class.
Okay.
Yep. Now, the only kicker is if you try to order the vouchers after April, after your subscription date, April,
Yeah,
it will not work because you're going to lose access to it.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. In January, if you can, I would actually try to test D2L for your spring semester. I would make that my test going forward. I mean, that's what I really strive to do, being yours expires in April. And I'll help you with that.
Well, that's what I was asking is, should I start my renewals going from, January to January instead of where it is now?
Yes. Yes, I think Kelly, we'd actually talked about doing that.
Yeah, I think that would be the best idea here. Since it expires in the middle of the semester, I would switch over to Kabuto, to D2L, January 1. That way you're using it with your new classes. What we did here at Stanley is our second 8-week classes, we moved over a couple classes to D2L as a test. So if you maybe have a class that starts the second 8 weeks, you could possibly go ahead and apply and then do a test with one class or so before you do the others. But definitely by January 1, if yours expires in the middle of the semester, I would go ahead and move over to D2L.
That answer your questions, Harry? Pretty good. Okay, very good. Any more questions on that before we move forward? All right, very good. So as we know right there, we've already went through the registration process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click back over here to the administrative side. I'll probably have to log back in. Yep, so let's log back in. I had to log out and go here. All right, so once you get logged on and you're the administrator, now here's the difference. On the administrative side, you're going to have a couple different tabs from what I think from the instructor side versus the administrative side. You're going to have the managed subscription tabs. You're going to have view Pearson vouchers. You're going to be able to review user profiles. You're going to be able to assign vouchers, okay? Now, the order history, the students will see their order history, their courses, and the My Pearson vouchers. What I want you all to kind of focus on right now is you registered your account, all right? You've got access to this account, so you'll click on My Subscriptions or Manage Subscriptions, all right? So on the Manage Subscriptions, depending on how many seats you buy, so let's go back one, depending on how many seats you buy, 205 seats, well, they call it, or VMware calls it subscriptions, I call it seats because it is student-based. Get 205, you buy the 405, or you can do the VMware IT Academy bulk subscriptions, whatever you want to do. However, I know Susan said that change was coming, that say you had 250, then they could just charge you independently, and I think that's great. So just make sure you pick your subscription size that you need, all right? Once you pay for your subscriptions, here's where you'll go back and you'll manage your subscriptions. Once you manage your subscriptions, you will notice I have a couple classes already created. I have a second 8 weeks fall 2021, and that is that class that, Kelly had just mentioned. That's our TS class. Then I thought about, okay, well, what if we do an instructor base? You've got to decide at your institution, do you want to put all of your students in one class? Do you want to separate them? How do you want it? I think it's not fair for me to tell you how to do your classes, where to set it up in one or separate. You pick and choose, all right? So let's go over creating a class. All right, you'll notice I've already used, we've got 205 subscriptions. I've added some instructors and I've added some test students. So let's go create a class. Once you
Brandon, hold on one second, Brandon. Let's talk a second about what you just said about adding them to a single class. Okay. What he means is, obviously, if you have 60 students and 3 classes at your school, you're going to have 3 separate classes for your school. But for ease of management, you may only put them into one class in D2L.
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to manage it, have multiple classes in D2L. Now, if you want to, you could do that too. So it's up to you how you do this. But that's a discussion we're having on the best way to do this. I think we pretty much decided to do what each one is a single class or each one is a one class.
Yep, we're on the fence with that. Thank you, Kelly, for bringing that up. So that kind of goes back where you have to decide. Having everybody in one class, I do see ease of management, because then I don't have to go back and pick, well, which classes he is. He in Caleb's class or Kelly's class or Brian's or whose class is this student in, or do you just want to create one master class? So just know going forward, you can do either or from my test beds I've already done. And like I said, you'll see I've already created some classes. So let's do this. Let's go through the process. You've got your subscriptions. Let's go create a class. All right. So you click create a class. Once you create a class, now here's the good part about it. Say you're doing VMware ICM. Well, they've added the French and the English version of 6.7 for ICM. However, they only have for the ICM the English version available for version 7. So just know, don't get those confused when you select them. So let's go ahead and select VMware Install, Configure, Manage. Say in your class, you know what? I want to do Cloud and Vert concepts. Guess what? You can add it. Say you want to do DCV core technical skills, getting started in IT or software defined storage. Say, you get to thinking about, I really don't want to do virtual cloud network. I don't want to do modern apps. You don't have to. You can customize this how you want it moving forward. All right. So let's go create it. Let's give it a class name and let's just name it D2L test.
Hey, Brandon, I have a question.
Okay.
Did those courses populate automatically, or did you as the administrator have to pick and choose which ones? It populates automatically, right?
Those automatically are populated from your side or from VMware side.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
So everything is already there for you. Now it's just a pick and choose model. All right. So you can kind of consolidate everything. With Kabuto, you really didn't have that option, right? Students just click on it, they would go to that link and boom, they were done. Well, say they wanted the software defined storage concept. They'd have to go back to Kabuto, click that link, and then get another link. Then they'd have to save it to go to that class. So once you name your class, we said we have 199 subscriptions remaining. We've selected everything we want in our ICM. And really what we could do is add software products and license keys. That's important too. Make sure if you want to give them access to that, you do, or do you want to order it for them? Again, what works best for your institution. What you'll do is you'll click add. Once you click add, you'll notice that my course name of D2L test has been created. My course name is the IT Academy program. It says, oh, I actually added ICM, which was version 7. I added cloud and bird concepts, DCV core technical skills, getting started in IT, software defined concepts, and allowed the students to get software products and license keys. How do I add users? This is a very simple process. And actually, I think it takes out steps from Kabuto. I like it. First, you're going to add an instructor. A couple ways you can do it. Or this is how you add instructors. I'll show you about the students. But you just give them the first name, last name, email address, click add. Once you click add, which I'm not going to do right here, it's going to take away from your remaining subscriptions of $199. So it'll put us at $198. Every instructor you add, it does take away from your subscriptions remaining. Now, for the students, you click on add students. VMware has got it where you can add single students or add multiple students. All right. The multiple students, you can do it like you can just put email address, first name, last name, or you can do a text file, populate it via text file, or you could do it CSV format. What works best for you? For me here at Stanley, I'm able to go in and get all of our VMware students via CSV file, populate them, and I'm done. I think this is great. I think it's a little bit less steps than Kabuto had. Once you add those students, say you had 50 students, it's going to take away from that remaining subscriptions. So just know we'll be down now to like 158 students or 148 students. Susan, did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm being loud.
So once you click add or upload, then again, it is going to take away from the subscriptions remaining. Now, here's another question. Here's something else I learned. You're like, boy, this is going to get expensive, right? Say you're doing an optimize and scale class. What you can do, don't delete the students out. And Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you leave the students in there from ICM to ONS, it will not count against your subscriptions because you didn't delete the student. If you delete that student's account out of D2L and add them back, it is going to use another subscription. All right, so just remember that. Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that will help you. Just don't go delete a bunch of users if you know they're going to be there.
So Brandon, can you clarify that? Did you say you'll add another class or you're adding another course to this existing class?
Well, what you can do is, let's go back. All right, and we'll just show you. Manage subscriptions, D2L test. Once we go to that D2L, let's edit the list. Oh, it didn't do it right. Susan, thought I could, if something changed, I thought I could edit that and add to that.
You should be able to. Are you're logged in?
Edit the list, yellow button.
Up there, edit, yeah.
Yeah, it only lets me edit the class name.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I think that's changed. I don't think that was like that when I done my last test. Okay, well, let's go back. Let's see if I add well, let's do this. Let's go create another class. Let's do O&S right quick.
Well, if the student's not deleted and you create a new class and put their names in, would it not just pull the existing student in there? Or is
Yeah,
that?
I'm getting ready to test that now.
Okay.
Click add students. I don't see where it populates that list. Seems like I remember seeing that, Susan. I need to go over that with y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause previously under edit this list, you were able to just add in another course.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Susan, can you find that out? See if that's changed, please?
Yeah, I'll find that out. It won't be right this second, but I will
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll update everybody and let you know. Like I said, if I remember correctly, the last test I done, I was able to go in there and add
Yeah,
or another one to it if we needed it.
right.
So I'll get that verified, Harry, and get back with everybody on that one. Great catch, because honestly, my last test, it worked fine and you were able to do that. So great catch. Thank you. So on the managed subscriptions, you're able to see all your classes. You can actually go in and see, let me go back to my account, profile. Well, there's my profile.
Hey, Brandon, sorry, I had a cramp and my leg, I just had a hamstring cramp.
I know, I was worried about you, Kelly.
I'm getting old, but yeah, I just had a terrible hamstring.
You were having a cramp and thinking about Brian, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Click on an existing class that maybe it's that you don't have any students in the class. See if you can edit this list now. Nope. Okay. I was just thinking that. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Like I said, I had a cramp. So.
Let me go back. Let me go here. Subscription. Which test? I think I did ICM test on that one. No participants enrolled. I know I got some enrolled. I gotta find them.
Be the second 8 weeks. You should have Dustin enrolled in that one. On the very top.
Is it the second? Is that the one we done?
Yeah, they're one on the very top. Second 8 weeks fall.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Right there it goes and shows it. All right, so right there it will show you the enrolled participants in that class.
Now try to edit. Now try to edit, Brandon. Try to
Yeah, I
edit.
think you're at the wrong place, maybe.
Yeah, edit this list with the, yeah, see if it'll change now. Nope, still won't.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay.
No. Yep, and then, okay, Susan, if you'll get that looked at, please, because if I remember correctly, I was able to go click edit and add, like, if I wanted to add O&S to it, I could add it in here or a different one. I do remember that. So, but again, enrolled participants, it'll show you email address, who's in there, whether they're a student, instructor account, all that good stuff. Any questions so far seeing the instructor administrative side? Again, this is all new, so we got to be patient. At least I'm trying to be patient. Susan's gonna laugh. Any questions?
Brand, there's one in the comments asking about LMS integration, if anything's changed with that. And if not, is there any published information on best practices for integration with D2L? They mentioned Blackboard specifically.
If there's any changes relating to the integration with traditional LMS, specifically in our case, Blackboard. If not, any changes are to publish information, shared information, best practices such as integration. Okay, so when we talk about LMS integration, as of now, I do know NDG, you can do the LMS integration. However, you can only do one LTI package per integration. So if you were doing one of NDG's free courses and you went to LTI or do a LTI integration, you can't have all three. So you have to pick and choose. The workaround of that is to put the link for the student in there to get access to that course. So if, well, I'll show you.
But they may be also asking about the VMware courses.
Yep, and then I think the VMware courses actually do that. Hang on one second, let me.
And while he's pulling that up, D2L has their own LMS, which is called Brightspace. And I need to get a clear answer on the LTI, but I don't think there is one for Blackboard because they have their own LMS, but I will check on that.
Thank you, Susan. So everybody's like, we use Canvas here at Stanley, right? Let's just take module 2, Introduction to the vSphere and Software Defined Data Center. What we've done is said, okay, so we put a prerequisite in there to that module. The prerequisite, what we found out and how it aligns is the Cloud and Vert Concepts, the NDG's course. So what we did, because we couldn't use all of them as an LTI integration, we created an internal link. We click on that internal link and it takes us to the NDG portal. Here is where your students will register a free class or a free username, password to log in. Once they do, they'll log in with their email address and password. Once they log in, then they have access to that all the time, full time, 24/7. So all the link they really need to know is portal.netdevgroup.com. Then they can go outside of their Canvas or the LMS that they're at and they'll have instant access to it. But however, I do know, again, NDG's classes do work with it. Like Susan said, the VMware does not. Any questions, any more questions? I hope that answered that. Mike, did that help a little bit? Yes. So how do you grade when you share the link? Yes, you just incorporate, we incorporate quizzes at the end of each module, and that's basically how we do our grading. Yep. So that help? All right.
Now, Brandon, for the Vert and Concept classes and the core technical skills classes for the VCTA, we don't actually grade those because it's incorporated into our ICM class. We only grade the ICM content.
Yeah, so all Mike was asking, how can he get his students know where they actually using the material? He can create a quiz on that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I was just saying some of those are learn on your own pace kind of classes. You might not necessarily need to grade them.
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. And again, there's many ways that you can do that also. Yep. All right, so does anybody, before I show you the student login and what it looks like, anyone got any questions so far on the administration side? And again, I'm an open book. All you have to do is get with me and I'll help you. There's no questions. Let me show you what it looks like on the instructor side. So when you assign instructors, again, they're not going to see the managed subscriptions, the view Pearson vouchers, the assigned vouchers. They're going to see my courses, my order history, and my Pearson vouchers. So you'll go to view courses. Here is where it's going to populate, and here's the D2L platform. All right, so you saw I had that one class in there. I said, you know what? I'm going to add myself to ICM. I'm going to add it to modern applications. I'm going to do digital workspace. I just went ahead and added my instructor class to everything. So I chose everything. All right, so you'll see that I have all these micro courses, all these courses available. I've also got vSphere ICM and I've got Optimize and Scale class. Let's click on the ICM. Let's view it for a minute. Once you view it, here is where, as an instructor, I've got one key part right here, instructor resources. Once you click on instructor resources, I have 3 tabs, all right? I got the student resources, what the student's going to see. I have my instructor resources, which are the PowerPoints right here. And Susan, can you verify what's the easiest way to download the PowerPoints going forward Or will the IT academies need to contact you? Because you can't download them from D2L.
Right. You just view them right there. Are you wanting to download them?
Yeah, so see, like us, we have to download them. We can't use the platform. We have to have everything internal.
I need to find out about that, Brandon.
Okay. All right. So at least you got access to all the PowerPoints. So if you click on, here's each module. These are the official PowerPoints. Everything's official. Good part is you have the lab guide and the lecture manual. There's two differences right here. This lecture manual, remember the old e-text? It's different now. This is not the e-text. This is the official lecture manual that you will have to go from. This is the official book. This is why you're paying for some of what I tell everybody. Now you're paying for the book, but it's the free book. I mean, it's a more enhanced version of everything, and you just go to it. Gives you everything. It's just like presenting the whole lecture. It's all here now. All right. So this lab guide, do not have students to use it unless I tell all my students, if they've asked me for this and they've found it somehow, they've gotten it. This lab guide, if you use NetLabs, cannot be used. This lab guide is how VMware sets it up on their back-end infrastructure, possibly with Workstation. But I'm going to tell you, if a student can go through and set up their home lab environment following this right here, then they're probably a V expert. So there's a lot of back-end configurations that has to be done, right, to do this. I've actually tried it. It's hard, and I've missed a couple of things because there's just back-end configurations that I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do this. It's a lot to it. However, they can go do it. Just have them to understand this is not the same thing as working in NetLabs, all right? So they do not need to follow that lab guide. All right, the next thing, here's another tab that's going to show up, is Access to Labs by NDG. Since I've picked the ICM course, all this is integrated. Now, do the students do their labs through NDG? No, they do not. All this is a way for the student to come in and say, you know what, if the class is over and I've still got access, I can go to NDG's website, click Launch Lab. Here is where they got an option. Do they want to pay to get 6 months access to NDG, or do they want to work out something with the school where they come back and actually use the school labs? So they'll still have to log in. They'll still have to pay for access through D2L with this. All right. So that's pretty important that the students need to just know that, say, hey, I can't just click on here and go do my labs. They need to do it through your NDG environment if you're running NDG. However, if you're not running NDG, sure, use D2L for your students to go through and order the context. Now, you can click on the Content tab, Student Resources again, or you can order the official textbook now from Gilmore Global. It'll take you to this website, and here's where you just run through the process. What ebook do they want to get? Data center virtualization, VCP courses, English, print book offerings, ebook offerings. They can go to the print book if they want it. I'm not sure why that's not showing up. Sorry about that. Ebook offerings. Uh-oh, Susan, it's not there for VCP, Gilmore.
Another thing on my list.
Okay, yeah, put it down for ONS too. I thought it was there the other week when I looked at it. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was there. Maybe something's changed.
Okay.
Now, Brandon, you can go into Instructor Resources and download those.
Okay.
Yeah, I just did it.
Okay.
You might have to have a mouse.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
If you look at it, it's in a PDF reader.
Okay.
Mine was showing up with the download button up the top of it. It might be
3 dots. Yeah. No,
not those. It was in the little reader. You want me to share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead and share. Let me stop my share and you share. Maybe I'm not using the right. Maybe it doesn't work with Firefox. Yeah,
but were you showing you were showing D2L though, right?
Yep. Caleb's in there as well.
Okay.
Okay, what, using Chrome or Firefox?
Ah, interesting.
Using Chrome or Firefox, Caleb?
Sorry, I'm using Chrome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I was using the space bar to unmute and it stopped working after I shared my screen.
Gotcha. So y'all have it when you go to download them, use Chrome. I
Yeah.
haven't been using Chrome, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, and I don't know if it's just the view or what, but it's there.
I would also be interested then, Caleb, if you can go and add to the class using Chrome, because I've seen instances where vouchers, when different systems cause problems like that.
Yep. Caleb, pull up your D2L.
All right. Let's see. Here you go. Anthony, you want me to go?
Towards home. Return to my account page.
Why am I logged out? Do you mean to check the vouchers?
Go to my courses. No, Kelly, he don't look like he, or click on the ICM course.
Yeah, he won't be able to because he's not the administrator. That's
That
right.
is- So while we got it here, so there's the difference. You see my administrative side, now you see Caleb's instructor side, because he's not an administrator, because you only have that one administrator account. Now you can see the instructor side, and you'll see Caleb's got all of his courses over here to the side. Harry, I'm going to show you here in just a minute what the student side looks like. So hang on, Caleb, before you go further, go ahead and go back and click the ICM course.
Yep.
All right, everybody look there to the right. When you give students, or Caleb, you'll see he's got the software license catalog, the My VMware portal, and down, keep scrolling down, then you'll have all the recommended software license and the recommended software downloads. So the instructors actually have that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions on that look so far?
Harry wanted to know, you may have this in a minute, how to download the software.
Yeah, I'm on show.
All right.
I'm getting ready to show all that.
You want me to stop share and let you go back?
Yes, sir.
All right. There you go.
All right. So we'll go back to screen one. All right. So I'm going to switch over here. And not that one. This one. Log in. All right. This is my. All right. So let's use this one. Here's my student account that I created. All right, so you will see this is the student login. Pretty much looks the same, right? It's got all the same concepts. It goes over and says, welcome to D2L Brightspace. Because I'm that student, I added in all the classes just to see what everything would look like. You'll see I have digital workspace, software-defined concepts, everything as far as ICM and optimizing scale. Over here to the right, it's going to have notes out there to you saying, welcome to D2L. It's going to tell you any updates to the courses. It's going to tell them, say, okay, if you want to order a voucher, then you can order your VCTA voucher codes. If you'd like students to get this, they have to open up a support ticket. As far as if you want to give them codes, basically working through the bookstore. I think, is that correct, Susan? This is a way if you can give students an access. So any student that graduates your program, you can say, hey, okay, well, now you can get that covered with financial aid. Go through your bookstore and it should help them order the process to buy the voucher, or the students can pay for it on their own. It just depends on whether or not they're in Con Ed or curriculum. So if this is the students look, let's go ahead and let's go into ICM. All right. Two key differences right here, or one right off the bat. I don't have no instructor resources. However, I do have student resources and access to labs by NDG. So let's click on student resources. Here's the student resources. You'll see the lab guide is there. I've already talked to Susan and Alvaro, had a meeting about possibly getting the lab manual taken out. Not sure about that yet. However, remember, just tell students don't use the lab manual. When they click on this lecture guide right here, it's going to pull it up. There's what it should look like. The students actually now have the free version of the book. They used to either have to buy the e-text or the book from Gilmore Global. Again, it is the full lecture manual. Same thing that the instructors got. It's there. So a lot more in depth. A lot more in-depth information, I think. It actually is not broken down into a PowerPoint and then notes. It's actually an official ebook. And students can download it for free off of their end now. So when you pay that $1.65 subscription model, then yes, they have access to the free ebook, or the student can actually go up and order the textbook from Gilmore Global. And Susan, don't forget to put that on your list.
Do students still use the printed books?
I have some that do, some that still do
Okay.
request it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I remember Access to Labs by NDG. The student is going to see that. If you do not use NDG or NetLabs hosted internally, this is an option. However, just remember it is a fee outside of your class because you're actually paying for NDG support side on the labs. For every course they have, so let's go back to course home. Now that you've seen the ICM, well, course home. About the content, my apologies. What's going on here? Oh, sorry, I gotta tell you, the three little blocks at the top, you gotta click on that, and now there's where you'll go back and you'll click, okay, well, which one do I wanna see now? Let's go to DCV or Data Center Virtualization Core Technical Skills. Once we go there, here's the free class that's gonna be any student, even after they leave VMware, they're gonna have access to this, or they're going to be able to get it until you cut their access off. So basically, they'll have access to this for a year other than your ICM course. Say they wanted to go to section 3, life cycle of a virtual machine. Well, they'll just go down right here, click on module 12. It's all integrated now. Used to it was a link. The student will have to give them their own link, pop it in, and they would go through tabs. Now all they do is work through the same environment as they're going through it. They just take and say, okay, make it big screen, keep going. Now they can actually click and go through everything associated with that module. Like Susan said, they do have demos in here the student can run through, or labs, virtual labs they can go through. Goes through process adding virtual hard disk and everything like that. So everything is actually integrated, right? So if they say, okay, well, I'm done with that module, all they have to do is go on and click on the next one. In Kabuto, and the way you got it from Kabuto, it would open up a new tab for each one. So now all of this is internal to D2L. So it's a positive, it's easier to manage. And again, everything associated with DCV, it's all broken down by section now. So in Kabuto, when you pull up the link and go to that link, then you would have, instead of it broken down by section, it just say module 26, module 27, 28, and so on. But it didn't have it broke down by what it was associated with. So just know, having access to D2L now, it makes it more simplified for you as the instructor and the student. Now all you gotta do is say, hey, go do the DCV Core Technical Skills course and go to vSphere Clusters and do section 8. That's what we're focusing on this week, along with ICM. So that is the positive to using D2L. All right. Any questions on the student side? Any questions for me so far? I know it's a lot, but again, all you have to do is contact me, and I will be more than willing to help anybody in here get started or make sure it's implemented well.
Brandon, Harry had a question in the comments. He asking, what does it look like for a student to download the software?
Oh, yep. So let's go back to that. Sorry, Harry, I missed that one, buddy. Let's go back. I said I was going to do it. Let's go back to ICM. All right. So say the student chooses vCenter. All they'll do is click on the vCenter link. Going to click download now. Whoa, where's their license for it? Okay, right here's the software downloads, and right here's the license keys. So they want to get a vCenter server license. They go right here, click on license. They're going to log in to their account, which I don't know why it's.
Then they'll get an email with the key.
Yep, you're going to get an email with the key. Once the student gets the email with the key, then they can go on and say, hey, I got the key for vCenter Server 7 Standard. Once I get this key for vCenter Server Standard, then you take and then they can download the newest version, which the latest version released is U2C. And I actually just got the email to my student account or my test account, and it says, thank you for requesting a license key. It's from VMware Software License. Let me take you there right quick. Let me log in on a separate tab right quick, and I will show you.
Harry wanted to know, is this separate from Brightspace, D2L, the same login for both?
Hang on one second. So once I clicked on the link, you'll have 60 days. Susan, that's something else that's not right again.
No, it says 60 days, but on the instructions, you put the key in and it will extend it for 12 months.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yes. And this is the biggest difference between this, Kabuto and D2L is the software downloads. It's going to be 2 extra steps, but they only have to do it once. So that's what I always tell everybody. Hopefully it won't be that painful.
All right. So this is a little bit different. Changed again. Where is the key? Say the student wants to go see the key. Where do they see the key?
It was emailed to you.
Okay, the only email that I got, and I'll share this one, was this one right here. Or is this the key?
Yeah, that's the key right there.
Okay, well, that's
And
the
then
order number, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Let me go back and look.
You have to download the My VMware portal and register there. So you have to register in D2L and.
Did you add software downloads for that student?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Because I'm gonna go and look through mine, but I'm pretty sure I did a test software key thing, and I think I got a key. Let me look that up and I'll try and share it.
So let me stop my share. I may have missed it. What are other options for lab access? All right, so Corey, great question. You can also always create your own labs with VMware Workstation, like Susan said. That is a possibility if you want to create some in-house labs. And if you run, whether or not you run NDG internal or hosted, as far as the VMware labs, that's the only thing I know, ones that actually align to the VMware curriculum right now. Susan, I may be wrong, but the NDG labs are the only ones I know that really align with what you all have.
That's correct. Our free HOL labs don't align directly, but they do have some good labs included.
You could use the VMware HOL labs, which is the hands-on labs. Corey, do you all use NDG by chance or hosted or anything like that, if I may ask?
No, we don't.
You don't? Okay. I would get with Kelly and talk with him about that and see how we could help you moving forward with that if that's an option.
Okay.
I'll let Kelly make that call if you're interested in that.
So can you see that email, Brandon?
Yes.
This is
Oh,
the one
there
I
it
got.
is. Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't think you
Yeah, I was
had the
fine.
software license keys turned on for that test student.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my apologies. I'll have to go back to that one class. So yes, you do get the key, and then you got access to download the software.
And yeah, it's from info@itacademy.brightspace.
Yep.
Just make sure you got the right one.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Caleb.
You're welcome.
I'm acting like a rookie here. I try to stay up with it, everyone. It's challenging at times. Let's see. Any more questions, concerns, anything that I can help with right now, me or Caleb or Susan? Feel free to ask, please. I think we've showed you how to check your Kabuto subscription. We've asked you, or I've shown you, Mike, I'll put in my information right now. The administrative portal. I've shown you the student portal, different looks. Let's see. Susan went over the program in general, excuse me, for those that may be not on the fence, but ready to move forward.
And I just sent you, Brandon, the PowerPoint, so you can send that to everybody.
Okay.
And one thing I want to encourage you, and I'll put in the chat window, is our YouTube channel has a lot of really great videos from VMware engineers talking to students about the value of VMware, the value of learning about virtualization. They talk about their lessons learned, their career path, and it's really good to show some of your students if you're teaching VMware or interested in offering it on down the road.
Yep. Thank you, Susan. Can everybody see my screen? I'm glad you brought that up. That's the Kabuto subscription renewal guide. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to send this to everyone. It's got some great information in it. It goes over the steps to join, just like I went over a little bit ago. Shows you the licensing program, the FAQ on it, the D2L Brightspace video tutorials. They're all on YouTube. You'll see Alvaro doing some of the links. And then you've got the welcome to the academic program. This is basically, again, click here to log into your account to proceed. All that information is there. What I really want to show you is this one right here, the VMware IT Academy D2L migration guide. Very good answer question document here. Do I have to move to the new LMS? If so, when? It gives you all those. Talks about the pays, the fees. It talks about, again, there's the pricing, how to go through Gilmore Global, the software use, everything in general, what platforms it works with, the roles, available content, D2L training you can always get with the VMware IT Academy website. Again, they have those videos. They had a demo they can do with you. And pretty much I'll add those documents in as well for everyone. And when Kelly sends it out, unless Susan, you have a direct link to those.
I do. It's all on our website.
All right, very good. And then I will
Hopefully, I asked to add it. I hope it got on there.
And then lastly, Susan brought up live events to her, the demos or the weekly meetings they do. You can always go to the VMware IT Academy webpage, scroll down at the bottom of the page. Once you scroll down, you'll notice that it goes to join our live events. All you'll do is you'll select your location. We'll select US, Canada, English for here. And here's where we'll do like the next roundtable, the next webinar. Here's where it is. You'll meet the VMware program manager or other new instructors. Informal Interactive, it tells you about it. You can choose when you want to attend it and basically put in your name, register, and you'll be signed up, like Susan said, to do the free webinars on that one. Did I miss anything? Susan?
That
Kayla?
was great.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Tony, Harry, Glenn, anybody, Corey,
I
Zach?
hope today was
Micah?
helpful.
Yeah.
We're good over here.
Okay.
We're good. Thanks a lot.
Okay, very good. And
Thanks
again,
for joining.
yep, thank you very much for joining. I got one more thing. I'm not gonna tell you what I'll send you, but the first person, my contact information is in the chat. If the first person that emails me can tell me the first version of VMware that I started teaching, I'll send you something, or we'll get it sent to you. And I'm not gonna tell you how long I've been doing it, because you'll know then which version it is. All right, I'm gonna stop recording. I'll stop my share. I'm gonna stop
I
recording.
know, I'm like, I hope I didn't